Hello. All right, I'm gonna try and blast through this here. If you've been watching the channel, you know that I've been riding the KTM 390 Adventure for the last couple of years. So it's a 2023 with the spoked wheels. I put a lot of time and effort to make this bike a better off-road machine, but it is just not the best off-road bike. I think it's a really good adventure bike. It doesn't weigh very much compared to other adventure bikes. The only thing that might be similar would be like the 310 GS for the power. You got the Himalayan 450, but that thing weighs way more than it should. However, the bike's got a 19-inch front rim instead of a 21-inch front rim, so you get kind of thrown around a bit more. It's got pretty stiff suspension. Ergonomics on it make you feel like you're riding a street bike, and it doesn't really matter if you change the foot pegs, get bar risers. You can change a lot of stuff. You just can't make it feel like it wants to be off-road. And for things like single track, hill climbs, more technical terrain, it's just not made for that. So this put me in the market to try and solve a problem that I've kind of invented for myself here. And what I wanted was a bike that was going to be very good off-road, that I could learn and grow my skills on and hit more difficult terrain, that could also go on the highway safely, keep up with the flow of traffic. So I want to go highway speeds. That means bigger than a 250, and I want it to be lightweight. So this puts you at the 300 to 400 cc range. So I kind of narrowed it down to four bikes that I was looking at. Got the DRZ400, CRF300L, CRF300L Rally, and the KLX300. The DRZ400, this bike's been around for like 20 years. The design has been the same for the last 20 years up until 2 years ago that they revamped it, but I'm not going to talk about the new bike. We're going to talk about the original DRZ. The 400 puts out 32 horsepower, which is more than all the other ones, naturally. It's a bigger engine. The fuel capacity is 2.6 gallons, which is the second biggest out of all of the bikes listed. The weight is 317 pounds, about 320. So it's a little heavier. It's only lighter than the Rally in this list. And then the suspension's okay. It's 20 years old, whatever. The bonuses of it being old is that the aftermarket availability is awesome. There's tons of parts for this bike. It's also easy to find because everybody's got one, and there's tons of resources online between the forums, YouTube videos, weird quirks like the kickstand sensor, turning the bike off. You can find answers to all of these online. Price is good unless you're buying a brand new one. You could buy one super cheap, modded out, especially if you don't care about the mileage on it. It's a solid platform. The way it holds that higher weight, though, is it feels higher in the bike too, and the bike is really tall. So low speed maneuvering, I've ridden one, they feel heavier than they actually are under certain circumstances. So I feel like that kind of takes away from the, beginner friendliness of this bike. Next, I'm going to talk about the CRF300L and the CRF300L Rally both together. So they both have the same engine. They put out 27 horsepower. So it's up there with the DRZ. It's less. The fuel capacity, the L holds 2.1 gallons, so not very much. And then the Rally holds 3.4 gallons, which is lots of fuel. The downside of the Rally holding more fuel, plus it's got a windscreen and it's kind of more fully fared, a lot more plastics on it. So it weighs 335 pounds, where the base L just weighs 306 pounds. My issue with the Rally, other than that you cannot find them anywhere, even in dealerships around here, unless I order one, is closer in my mind to an adventure bike than a dual sport. If I got the Rally, I'd essentially be replacing the 390 Adventure. And then the main downside to me with the CRF300L is everybody says that the suspension, it's on both of them, is not very good. Even if you're a lightweight rider like me, it's still not very good. And I think suspension needs to be good to be confidence inspiring and help you grow. MSRP was high 5,000s, close to $6,000. And I can't tell you used because there are none for sale around here. So then the last bike is the KLX300. This has the least amount of horsepower out of all these bikes, around 23, 24 horsepower. Also has the least fuel capacity at 2 gallons, but it also weighs the least amount at 302 pounds. So it's very lightweight, dual sport. KLX also has the best suspension out of all these out of the box. Everybody says, oh, if you weigh more than 160 pounds, you're going to want to get better suspension on the KLX. Well, I weigh 160 pounds and I love the suspension on it. It feels like riding a bicycle off-road. It's so easy to ride. Also holds about as much fuel as a bicycle does. And then the price is right. So MSRP is like $5,500, except for that Kawasaki's got a rebate going on these things. And then the dealership also had rebate. So it puts it around $5,100 before you pay all the additional fees. Anyway, if you watch the channel at all, you know I've already bought the KLX300. So I have two main complaints on this bike. Obviously, fuel capacity. However, I have already solved that. On Monday, I'm supposed to have the IMS 3.8 gallon fuel tank delivered. Not sure how install's going to go, but that should completely solve any issues that I'm going to have with fuel. I had to cut a group ride short last weekend because I had my fuel light on and wasn't sure how much farther I could go. And my other issue with the bike, and I saw this referenced in quite a few videos, people saying that the clutch was clunky. And at first I was like, well, it can't be that bad. You know, I ride a 2015 FZ09. It's got a clunky clutch. It's like not a big deal. And I'm not a professional, but here's what I think the actual issue is. I have essentially tightened the clutch cable as tight as I can. So there's just the tiniest hair of free play in the clutch lever. And to fully disengage the clutch, you have to pull the lever completely back to the grips, even with the clutch cable as tight as you can really safely go with it. It's like the clutch requires too much pull to fully disengage. The only solution I could think of is I'm gonna get a lever that is maybe shaped in a way where I can pull it further back without my fingers interfering with the travel of the clutch lever to hopefully get it to disengage more fully. And I'm not, an authority on this. This is just my best guess to what is causing what feels like really weird clutch issues to me. I'm hoping just a lever can solve this issue. It's still rideable. I just every once in a while the bike acts like I'm slamming it into gear, even though I've got the clutch pulled in, and it's weird. But anyway, there's a hopefully somewhat succinct rundown of what bikes I was looking at, why I ended up getting the bike I got. Which, if I didn't fully clarify that, it was a combination of super low weight, low cost, and availability. And after having ridden the DRZ400 and the KLX300, I'm very happy to have the KLX300. I feel like this is a bike that I can learn so much on. It's very forgiving. It's very easy to throw around in the woods. It's very easy to pick up. Today, I also had the opportunity to ride a CRF 450 RL, and I think I'm very happy to be starting my dual sport, true, more off-road adventure on the KLX 300 versus any of these other bikes. I do think that the DRZ 400 is still a really good choice. I think if you were in the market and that was what was available to you, you're not going to go wrong with it. At the end of the day, you can get any of these bikes and they're going to be fine. Anyway, I hope this was informative to somebody. I'm waiting for some proper routes to open up. Oh, hey, we hit this means nothing to anybody, but I hit 100 subscribers today, which is like absolutely nothing in terms of YouTube, but big deal to me. So thanks, guys.